you mentioned earlier the fact that people are waiting to hit 60 so they can claim the pension, finally stop working, live on a beach for the rest of their life, not do anything.
Yeah.
Why is that wrong? Not necessarily it in itself, but why would that mentality do more harm than good if it does?
Okay, that's quite an interesting question, and let me see if I can structure this answer in a way that will give someone a really comprehensive way of looking at it. So first and foremost, right, the first thing is that the word retire in itself, right, it's a man-made concept in itself. It's not just a word; it's a man-made concept. Because if you think about what retiring is, you get to a point in time, you stop working and then live off your assets, right? In some cultures, when you do that, it means you're cursed. It's a curse to do that because they look at working a job or making money or doing something as you contributing to society. So only dead people don't do anything. And therefore, if you stop doing something with your life and you stop adding value and stuff like that, then you're cursed. So if in other words, you're alive and you're breathing and you choose not to do something with your time and stuff like that, just live off your pensions or your investments or whatever, then you are a cursed person. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be working a job. It just means anything. You could retire from your profession that you've been working all these years to build up this world, fine. But you can maybe create something, do some volunteering or do something. So you always got to be doing something. So therefore, retirement does not really exist. You know what I'm saying? And so when we say do not retire, it really doesn't exist at all. But ultimately, what we really want to talk about is where retirement isn't this idea that you hit a certain age, then you retire. It's about how quickly can you personally build up enough asset to retire. For some people, if again we're using the word retire, they've done that in their 30s. Some people retire in their 40s. You can retire whenever. So why 60 then? 60 was really the life expectancy age for some people many years ago in the 70s. So the idea is obviously the baby boomer generations and stuff. People weren't really living past 60. So the government kind of thought, okay, well, 60 would be like pensionable age. So if we say 60, 65, well, we only have to fund their lifestyle for 4 or 5 years. But now people are living 100 plus. So there is a massive pension crisis, right? This idea of relying on government pensions and companies is that it will not be there forever because it's not sustainable. It's worse than the health crisis the current company has. It's too expensive. It's not sustainable at all, right? And time will not allow me to explain all the metrics and different things like that. But this is not something that you can bet on and, bank your whole financial future on.
But just touch on what pensions are in a high level. Because again, if those who are listening are younger, pension is almost like, what the heck is that? So
so pension is basically, something that, put it as a pension is something that you put your money into, or not something that pays you residual passive income when you retire. Let's use that definition. So pension could actually be anything, right? So, but in a technical sense, in the real definition of pension is something that you get. So when you work for an employer, they would enroll you into a scheme where a portion of your salary will go into investments and it'll be done on your behalf when you can't touch until you're 60, 65 or something like that. And then at that point you can access that money, but you can't touch all of it, but you will then have to decide how much of it you want to start accessing and stuff. So it's a pot of money that you put away through employer. You can also set it up yourself, but usually you get it through an employer and stuff like that.
So off the bat, that sounds like a good idea. So why did you then say that there's a crisis? Because it sounds like, oh wow, people are putting in money for me. Yeah. So then when I retire, I'm going to have so much money to...
Yeah, okay. So the crisis is that, one, people are not saving enough. There's not enough saved in pension to sustain people's lifestyle now. So, the average pension pot in the UK is about £30,000. But if people are 60 retired now, they're going to live till 100. That's 40 years of non-working, non-making money, right? And being in that, i.e. cursed stage. And so that 40,000, how are you going to sustain your lifestyle? So most people in that, there's something called state pension where the government essentially tops up your pension or adds more money to it. They can only add so much. It's not enough to be able to keep adding that pension. So the crisis is that there's too many people retiring versus the amount of money available to be able to keep people paying this. This is where the crisis is. Now, if you're smart enough and you know that and you want to retire early, you can create your own pension. That's not outsourcing your pension through these companies and hoping for the best, but you can insource your pension. You can build your own companies or businesses and essentially setting up your own infrastructures that will pay you that money that you need to retire early. So retirement isn't 60. That is, again, I suppose, a government inspired way of thinking and stuff. I'm not saying that they determine that, but you can retire whenever you want. If you've got a level of assets right now, you can literally, I suppose, notify the HMRC or the IRS if you're listening and you're for the US and stuff like that, and say, look, I just want to check, I want to notify that I'm retired and stuff like that. And over here in the UK, there's some stuff they have to do to send you some. They just be notified and stuff like that. But the point is, you can retire any time. You don't have to retire to 60. You don't have to keep on going at 60. But again, that's just a man-made thing over there. If you've got a lot of assets already, you want to start retiring, you can retire at any given point. So that's what I mean and stuff like that. Retiring really is. So going back to what I said earlier about I know clients that people are working in jobs. So the official national, the ONS statistics about 63% of people doing jobs that they don't like. This is the kind of people that have said, right, I don't like what I'm doing, but it's something I have to do because this makes me good money, right? So I know someone that's a lawyer, and then she doesn't even want to make partner for long for it. She's been offered it, and she earned about £750,000 a year plus, and she wants to retire in her 40s. Now, if she carry on the way that she's going at the moment, she'll hit that goal and she'll retire comfortably on £10,000 passive income a month. So by her 40s, let's say she lives till 100, for the next 60 years, she doesn't have to work because she made all that money. So literally she started working at 20 something and maybe another 20 years of just investing and accruing that, building that money, stuff like that. She would have reached that goal. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for her, she really likes fashion and she likes like all these, stuff. So really it's not, I just want to stay at home all day, watch Netflix and sleep and eat and get fat and do nothing. It's actually, I just want to change careers. But that fashion world doesn't pay me enough. So at 40, I've made my money, I got the residual coming in. I've sort of removed myself away from the involvement of the attachment of money and all that stuff. So now I'm independent to money, but I still want to create stuff out there. And the funny thing is, those kind of people go out there and they even build another £1 million business. And then it's just like, I think people that are rich get richer and rich. They're so free and they got time to devote and learn and think and do so much that they just get wealthier and wealthier. So do I believe in pension? Pension, if you like, is a product that you can have as a personal one or through a company, or you can get it also from the government. So it's a very complicated way of explaining it. Is it good to have a pension? Absolutely good to have it. If you work a job, currently at the moment, on average, the contribution is 8%, which means you put 5% of whatever you earn, you'll be forced to put 5% in, and the government and then the company put 3% in. That 3% is not taken from your money, your pay. That's 3% from the employer putting more money in. So you're saving for the future. Essentially, again, 3%, someone putting 3% away for you, saving 3% on your behalf without you having to do anything. So it's basically free money on the table. So if you're employed, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. And also, wherever you put into pensions, you reduce your tax bill. So you save money on taxes, you get more money added into you, and you got the benefit of locking it away, forcing yourself not to spend it and investing in stuff like that. So pensions are a great tool. Again, it depends what kind of pensions, where it's invested and all that kind of stuff. But pensions are an absolutely great tool, great thing that you should have in your portfolios.
But definitely, I think a private pension at some point in your life is the way to go.
Yeah.
Only because of what you just said, where what people don't realize is the level of lifestyle you live. In your mind, you think you're always going to live, but the truth is you're not always going to have the resources to accommodate.
Yeah.
And you jump from a £700,000 a year job, then you retire, let's say the traditional way, and your pensions, if you go through the employer route, is only worth £150,000.
Yeah.
For which you might only get £5,000 a month. Which for some people is like, wow, but your lifestyle at the £700,000 was £15,000 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and so now you've had to downgrade and downsize.
Yeah.
But if people that are younger can have the foresight of this lifestyle, that it's almost interesting that we spoke in the very beginning about purpose and you wanting to use money as a way to drive your purpose. Now you've also got to remember that this purpose and this lifestyle and these things you dreamed of that you always wanted, you're going to have to think of a way to sustain it for the long haul. It's not just getting it, it's now, okay, how can I keep it flowing and keep it going?
Exactly that.
And I guess it links to ownership at some point.
It does link to ownership, but it perhaps even a step before that, right, is thinking of this, right, you diversify in your assets. So when you think of wealth building, you just think diversification. But when you want to make income and make real big income, try and specialize. So I specialize for income, diversify in wealth. So in other words, you don't know how long you're going to live for. You don't even know when you'll be able to have a pension. So you just, whatever the options are available at your current stage, maximize that as best as you can. So if you work for a job and you can put the money into your pension, put the money into your pensions. And that's just one thing that you have. That's not everything that you're going to retire. And that's the issue there. People do one thing or the other. They go all in one thing, right? So you have people that have everything is in house and property. That's like, yeah, I made it. No, you haven't. It's doing lots of different things. I've got pensions there. I've got property. I've got an asset. I've got a business. I've got this and this and that. Diversification of different assets and different things is what really gives you that peace of mind. Because in that 40 years, any crisis, which invariably will come, usually it affects one type of asset class more than the other, give or take. And so if you're, in all-in pensions, which are typically stock market related kind of thing, well, in a downward market, the value of your pensions could go right down. But if you've got some properties on the side, then that could maybe serve as a hedge against that in those times, right? Lots of different things, you know what I mean? And so that's just the understanding. When I'm thinking of building a portfolio for retirement, which again, I don't like to call it retirement, by the way. So I meant to say this earlier. I don't call it retirement. I call it financial independence, right? So financial independence really at the point where I call independence. In fact, I used to call it financial independence. That's why I used to call it, financial independence, because everybody used to call it financial independence. But financial independence really kind of, to me personally, it suggests that at that point, there's my money, I'm so independent to do whatever I want to do and stuff like that. And lately, I started saying that actually, financial independent, I like that terminology, but I call it financial choice, right? I want to get to a point where I have financial choice. And really, I like that. It's a softer than independence, but financial choice is really what I'm talking about. I want to have the choice of going, I don't want to live in East London, I want to live in West London. I don't want to live in this country, I want to live in that country. It's a choice. So it's not more of an independent, hey, I'm free. It's more of a choice thing. I'm free to do whatever I want to do. And I love that more. Like I heard it from someone else in the book I was reading and I thought, I'm taking that. I like that. That's everything I think about is not about retirement. What the heck is retirement? You know what I mean? It's more about financial choice. And the quicker you can do it, by offering more value to the system, the better.